Chapter 3. Happiness in Disguise. I'm soon in a relationship with a guy, Tristan, who has broken up with another girl to be with me. We only hung out for a few weeks, he reveals. She lives on the coast, so it was never going to work anyway. I know better. It'll bite me in the ass, but I'm only 18 and bulletproof. Let the good times roll. No time to tackle serious stuff like who's good for me or not. My brother Matt and some friends tag along with me to my kickboxing classes twice a week. Indoor soccer fits in well with my active social life. Working at a rest home, I have no solid plans for a career outside of paying my weekly bills, buying a box of pre-mixed drinks and filling up my car. It's Friday night. Tristan knocks off work, so we've popped down to the Linwood McDonald's on the east side of Christchurch. This place has fond memories for me. I got my first job here as a cleaner and birthday party host at 16, so I still know some of the staff members. We're ordering our food when a fight breaks out outside. Nothing to worry about, I think, turning my focus back to staff operating like an army of tireless ants moving food. I turn to ask Tristan something, but he's gone, walking out the main glass doors to stop a guy holding up a wooden plank trying to hit someone else. Rushing out, I find two guys pinning Tristan to a shop front glass window. I pull off one guy and instinctively put both hands over the top of his head using my kickboxing technique. I drive my knee into his chest a few times before following it up with two punches to the head. My opponent runs off, but a fist hits the back of my head. Turning, I chase the attacker, but someone trips my ankle, sending me to the middle of the drive-through zebra crossing. Flat on my back, I'm holding up hangry Friday traffic. My keys fly out of my pocket, landing a good metre away from me. The guy I was running after is now pinning me to the ground, raising his arm to smash his fist into my face. I clench my jaws and glare at him, daring him to do it in the headlights of the car behind me. In a blink, a towering man appears from nowhere like an angel. He drags my attacker off me with one hand, discarding him with a flick like he's a bag of rubbish, before addressing him like a schoolboy. "You don't hit, girls." He helps me up before vanishing as suddenly as he'd arrived. A quick look around shows the troublemakers have taken off. I calmly pick up my car keys and gracefully walk back inside the McDonald's outlet to allow the drive-through traffic queue to flow again. That's when I realise Tristan's run back inside, leaving me to deal with the mess out there. Is it a sign for me to leave him? I find him sitting at a table with our food in brown paper bags. "Took a few hits," he says, turning his legs to show me a few bruises and scrapes. "You all right?" I haven't given it a thought until then. "Not even a scratch," I reply calmly, checking the exposed skin on my arms and legs in shorts and a t-shirt. It could have gone horribly wrong. I'm still trying to figure out where that wooden planks ended up in all that chaos. I'll never know. How lucky am I not to end up in hospital? What I can say is it would have made for great CCTV footage or a hell of a scene for the car's occupants at the drive-thru. Tristan makes a habit of late-night dinners. My weight balloons from a crappy diet. He starts pushing me around at home, denting my confidence. Come to think of it, it's my first experience of domestic violence. In the more than 2.5 years I'm with him, I pile on over 30 kilos, tipping the scale at more than 100 kilos at one point. I can't bring myself to even sneak a peek at the mirror or look at the scales anymore. Every part of me spells self-hate. How does a boyfriend who runs for cover during a brawl push around a feisty kickboxing woman who takes on two hooligans? Well, I don't want to hurt anyone I care about. It almost feels wrong to even defend myself. 2 weeks before Christmas, Tristan breaks up with me for another girl. "Think we just need a break for 2 or 3 months," he texts me. As I curl up on a couch at my cousin's place around the corner from my flat, feeling the sun's warmth on my face. Still tired from getting up early in the morning to pick up his drunk ass, I'm in no mood to wait for anyone in my life. "How about get effed?" I text back. Tristan can have the girl, who I, ironically, taxi home with him in my car to their separate homes the night before. Karma, really. I should have seen it coming. Dropping 17 kilos in 2 weeks, I'm a skinny version of myself by Christmas Day. It must be grief because the chicken nuggets I've been having for dinner sure as hell aren't healthy. After the breakup, I have the urge to do something with my life. Marrying, having kids, and settling down aren't on my list. Skills? Hells yes. I can do better than just make coffee and sandwiches at the Amici's Cafe in Riccarton Mall. A co-worker, Anne, encourages me to try to find a job that uses my brain. She reminds me of my old school teacher, Mr. Ash. Thinking back, I'm grateful to such special people for challenging me not to sit back to watch life pass me by. Like Mr. Ash, Anne has since passed away. I love a challenge, so I enroll at the Open Polytechnic to study accounting in 2008. Yes, I'm in the driving seat now, in control of the direction I'm wanting to take in my journey into the future. However, in a whirlwind of confusion and self-doubt, I meet someone a month later who changes my life forever. Tommy dances like nobody's watching, smiles like happiness lives in every cell of his body. He oozes endless energy, proudly telling me he has ADD, attention deficit disorder, ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, and ODD, oppositional defiant disorder. The acronyms explain to him why he behaves the way he does. Tommy makes me feel like I'm the only person in the world. He makes me laugh, dotes on me, and treats me like a princess. His eyes light up when he tells me he loves me. Despite just coming out of a breakup, I fall head over heels for Tommy. He convinces me he can do no wrong, but soon reveals a totally different version of himself. I see it eventually, but it's too late. Unemployed, he's got gang affiliations, dealing in drugs, and living at his mum's house. Confident and outgoing, he's the life of the party. Everything I feel like I'm not. What I'm not realizing is all the things I love about Tommy I have inside of me, but I just can't see it. Not long after Tommy moves in, we're kicked out of my rental property because neighbours are complaining that all sorts of people are coming and going day and night. He's selling marijuana. My brother Matt, who's flatting with me, can't stand him. Stay away from him, Lisa, he warns me, moving out shortly after Tommy moves in. Tommy and I shift from Richmond to Herne Hay. Although the house is much nicer, it's becoming a financial burden, almost crippling me. Money's the source of all our arguments. Need to buy another ounce tonight, babe, he says, lighting a joint while leaning against the doorway like a security guard in my home. Shivers, Tommy. Don't have money for that. How many times do I have to tell you? I'll make the money back easy, he says, looking at me in disgust while blowing the smoke in my face. Rent comes out on Friday. How the hell is that going to work? I snap back, throwing the dish brush into the sink and placing my frothy hands rolled into fists on my hips. I'll make it work, trust me, he says with a glare before turning his gaze to the sink as if to say, why haven't you finished those dishes? It's crazy the number of people who go through our home. Dodgy characters, some of them, but Tommy isn't concerned about my safety. For him, it's all about getting high and having fun. I'm just some miniskirt wearing, cap on backwards, tabletop dancing, shot taking, foul-mouthed 20-year-old of his dreams. Pole dancers, sex workers, drug dealers, and off-the-wall teenagers are at every party we go to. Our friends, at times, act more like enemies. It's dangerous. The kitchens have alcohol at every turn. Toilets have empty shells hanging off toilet paper holders. People jump off balconies. Some look lost, but I confuse them for happy people. God, I believe, is protecting me all the way. A loyal friend, Rawiri, is there for me at my lowest points. He takes the rap for a group of us, including me. He does some time in prison and then becomes a flatmate after that. One day I sell his TV out of frustration after he moves out and I have no money. My cupboards are almost bare, but it doesn't bother him I've sold his stuff. I feel terrible about this, but he's been gone for ages. Yet he remains my friend. From the time Tommy and I have been going out, he asks his friends to approach me when I'm alone in town. Hey Lisa, they often whisper in my ear, eyeballing me. I know who you are, they say with a smirk. It shocks me, yet I shrug it off. But Tommy steps up his game, openly telling me he's watching me like a hawk. What the F? I ask, my heart racing. You've got eyes on me? What the hell does that mean? Yeah, he replies, finding my state of shock hilarious. You're my missus. Of course I've got my boys watching you in town. My eyebrows up in defiance, I glare at Tommy. Madly in love with him, I'm missing the warning signs. The stalking begins. When I'm out, he sends me text messages to point out exactly where I've been, even when I haven't told him anything. Now I'm always looking over my shoulders. The extent he goes to in making me feel like I'm losing my freedom is meticulous. My problem, I mistake his actions for love. That's not love, it's control. Coercive and manipulative, it's fear-driven, powerful control. Love doesn't seek to control. It's joyful, peaceful, kind, good, faithful, and gentle. Fear doesn't drive it. Love doesn't leave someone catching their breath, bracing for impact or anger. No, it doesn't cage another to ensure it's given what it wants to receive. Love should be calm and confident, knowing it'll be loved back. One night, we are partying at a 5-bedroom, 2-story house along a main street of Christchurch. We're visiting a girl we recently met in town. She's a pole dancer, Charlotte, who works at a parlour called the Doll's House. The place is packed with people laughing and arguing. The commotion is deafening. People stare at Tommy and I as we walk in with our friends. They don't know us and don't seem to care. A white bench in the middle of the kitchen is covered with alcohol bottles, pools of spilt drinks, and tipped over disposable cups. A steep stairway, leading from a 2nd-story bedroom to a concrete pavement area below, gives us a glimpse of people hanging around on a patch of grass. It's just as noisy outside. Guys are dangling off the stairway. Shit, someone will fall if they're not careful, I think. A grinning Charlotte senses my concern but tells me not to worry because the guys do it all the time. My bladder's screaming at me, so I hunt down the toilet tucked in a pokey corner near the kitchen. Toilet paper's missing from its holder. Is it on the floor? Either way, it doesn't matter because there's no way I'm using that. A long-legged spider dangles from its web behind me. I've got a niggly feeling the landlords have no idea about the state of this house. It must be worth a mint, though. It's a swift exit from the toilet to rejoin Charlotte at an upstairs bedroom. She seems different to the others in the house. Sponging on her makeup, she's preparing for her shift at the Doll's House tonight. Our small talk on the challenges of pole dancing uncovers her dreams. Early childhood teacher, she says, applying some concealer on the bags under her lower lashes to reveal the fire of determination in her blue eyes. Dreamt of it since I was little. Close to finishing my studies. Wow, I say genuinely, sensing that unshakable drive. Damn, you obviously know what you want. That's awesome. Hope I can feel like that one day. An emptiness takes hold of me. I've got no idea what I want to do with my life. Finishing her makeup, Charlotte offers to do mine, although I hardly ever wear any. The offer excites my bestie Mel, so I let Charlotte loose on my face. It seems like she's slapping it on too heavy, but then what do I know? However, when I check it out in the mirror, I feel like a different person. Hey girl, you look hot, says Mel from behind me, facing the mirror. Oh crap, I think. The last thing I want is too much attention from other guys. After hanging out at the house until after 11 p.m, we join a group of partygoers to walk into town with Charlotte, who gets us into the Doll's House without paying door fees. She buys Mel and I a drink before going to work behind the bar. The shakers are a deadly concoction of alcohol, pineapple juice, and who knows what else. Some of the best drinks I've ever had. Mel and I look around the room. A stage with floor-to-ceiling poles greets us. To our left is another cluster of poles in a separate area on the right. A group of guys is mingling at the bar. It's hard to miss their "I'm undressing you with my eyes" look. Mel spots the pool table before I do. Squealing with delight, she motions me towards it. We weave our way around the crowd toward the pool table, drinks in our hands and exchanging a competitive look. She isn't that sharp. A few years later, Mel does go on to beat me, screaming for joy, but I've chalked a few cue sticks more than her, learning from my sharp-shooting uncle. A few too many cocktail shakers and our game later, Mel and I hop up to the platform to dance around a pole. The looks we're getting from Tommy and our other friends, who are at another section of the bar, cracks us up. Tommy walks up to us, telling me he's going out to the rear section of the bar. I give it no thought, carrying on drinking with Mel. When he doesn't come back within about half an hour, I go looking to find him in the smoking area that I didn't know even existed. What are you doing? When are you coming back to drink with us? I ask, glancing at the girl next to him to let him know I'm not impressed He's alone with her. "Get the F out of here," he says. "I'll be back out soon." "Whatever," I reply, acutely aware something's bothering him because he's never spoken to me aggressively like that before, but know it's best to ask him when we're home. Oh, my naive young self. I've got no idea what he's been up to at the nightclub, although I recall a friend subtly warning me of Tommy spending too much time with that girl. We hop into a taxi for the ride home just after 2 a.m, but he's avoiding eye contact, giving me the impression that he wants to go straight to bed. I suspect what's nagging at him is that I've questioned him in front of the girl when he wanted her to think he's single. He slams the door of the taxi as I pay the driver. He still says nothing, so once inside, I follow him down the hall to our bedroom. Who was that girl in the smokers area? Big mistake. He loses his shit, like I've never seen him do before. Fear rips through my body. His jaw juts out and nostrils flare. As he clenches his fists, the veins on his forearms pop up, body stiffening. My brain's working overtime. Fight or flight? Definitely run for dear life, but my stomach's doing somersaults. The hairs on my arms stand up on their ends. Blood drains from my cheeks and my legs refuse to budge. I suck in oxygen as if it's my last breath. I want to be anywhere but here. I'm now convinced he's done something with the girl tonight, but he isn't going to admit it. His anger tells me as much. Eyebrows lowered and the pupils of his eyes wide, Tommy spits out words like cobra venom. "Effing bitch," Tommy hisses, his 1.85 metre, 6 foot plus frame towering over my 1.75 metre one. "How dare you speak to me like that at the pub?" "What?" I manage, aware that with the wall behind me and the doorway to my right, I've got no chance of running or hiding in a spacious bedroom. He raises his fist, eyes flashing with rage. Fear courses through my veins. I inch towards the doorway. "No," he barks. "You're not going anywhere." In a swift motion, he scoops all 75 kilos of me like I'm a beanbag, hurling me across the room. I soar over the bed, landing in a heap on the floor between the right side of my bed and the wall. Blood that had left my cheeks earlier now seems to be pounding against my ears. I roll to one side to get into a sitting position, finding comfort from the wall, covering my back. Somehow in all the commotion, I drag myself to the other side of the bed, where I sleep. Despite his pushing and pulling, still sitting on the carpet, gripping my bent knees with my back to the wall, I move back and forth like someone's nudged an empty rocking chair. I tuck my head between my arms to tighten the protective human ball I've created. "You just... what? Effing hell," I scream, trying to string words together, but some of them become jumbled. And it isn't because of the shakers I've been drinking. I don't... Get away from me. What the F? Warm tears filter freely through my eyelashes, leaving streaks on Charlotte's makeup. "I'm so sorry, Lisa," says Tommy, his voice cracking. "Didn't mean to hurt you. I'll never do that again. I'm so sorry, babe. Please forgive me. Please." He's crying, but my heart's in fragments, scattered. "Get away from me," I say, in between hyperventilating and avoiding his eye contact, pushing his arms away as he tries to hug me. Gently pushing a box of tissues on the carpet towards me, he sits there looking like he's just made the biggest mistake of his life. My entire life changes as I try to comprehend what's just happened. "I'll make you a Milo," he says, leaving the bedroom, knowing it always cheers me up. His answer is to change the subject or do something to try to make me smile. As if I haven't had enough. The red and blue flashing lights of a police car at the back door make me jump out of my skin. Tommy notices it too. "You go, babe, please," he begs. "Tell the pigs nothing happened." In my dressing gown, I open the back door to find 2 policemen there. "Hi, ma'am," says the one closest to me. "Your neighbours called us. They heard some screaming coming from your house." I just stare at them, eyes wide and arms crossed, feeling like a criminal. Maybe they'll arrest us both. Our closest neighbours share the subdivided land, just a small garage separating their newer house in the rear section from ours. They must have heard my screams. Maybe the other neighbours did too, in the still of the morning. Either way, it's the first time someone calls the police on us. Is everything okay, ma'am? The same officer asks, stepping closer towards me, breaking my stare. Tommy's about 5 steps behind me in the hallway, ears straining to listen to our conversation. Yeah, don't know what they're talking about, I say, after taking a deep breath to choose my words carefully. Are you sure? He asks. We can help you if you're not safe. Nah, it's all good, I shoot back, shaking my head and forcing a smile. Having just survived a traumatic situation with Tommy, I find 2 men in uniforms grilling me. Makeup messed up. I'm a walking disaster. The looks of disbelief on the officers' faces say it all. Can't blame them. Right now, even I wouldn't believe myself. Okay, ma'am. You have a good night, says the second officer, exchanging glances with his colleague. If you need us, just give us a ring, all right? Maybe if Tommy wasn't within hearing distance, I may have told them the truth. The officers could have asked me to come out of the house. They could have asked, who else is in the house with me? Where are they? Maybe, just maybe. If a female police officer had come along, I may have felt safer to share my early morning terror, but then again, maybe not. The neighbours behind us barely speak to us after that, putting their rubbish bins out down our shared driveway when they knew we're not home. End of chapter 3.